Hello, learner. Welcome to Mr. Quakers Teaches. I am Mr. Quakers. In this lesson, I'll be analyzing Elizabeth Jennings' poem, The Enemies. Now, this poem or this analysis is part of your anthology where you have 15 poems, so the 15 poems anthology. This analysis, I've analyzed all the 15 poems and then it's a course. All right, so the course contains all the analysis of all 15 poems. You have a sample of them here, and then it also has predicted IGCSE or GCSE questions as well. So the kind of questions I should expect, after your analysis. And additionally, the course also contains sample grade 9 or grade 8 essays, or sample A star or A essays that I've written down. So you can look at, for example, what to include in the introduction, the body of your essay, what you should include, for example, how you should use conjunctions to make your writing flow, what you should include, for example, in the form and then the structure of the poem, and also the conclusion. So you see that in some of the sample essays that I've written. So the course is very well detailed, So when you get it, you don't need any other thing to prepare for the exam. And you can subscribe to the course for only £5 a month. All right, that's £5 a month, or you can subscribe to the entirety of it for a year for £45 a year. That means you get to save 3 months in subscription or £15 in subscription. So you can do either the monthly basis of subscription or the yearly basis of subscription. Now, additionally, we also provide tuition services in the other components of the English literature. So the prose, for example, Things Fall Apart, and then the rest of the other proses, for example, then the drama pieces, then not only the drama, also provide tuition as well for the unseen paper and also for the poetry. If you need help with the poetry, writing essays, for example, how to write on characters, themes, and the rest, we provide assistance with that in the other components. Now, additionally, we also provide tuition services for the other subjects. So English language, history, geography, sociology, math, the sciences, triple sciences, and all the subjects essentially for the GCSE or IGCSE. Now, the thing is that the first lesson is a trial lesson or it's a free lesson. So you reach out to us, you sign up, you reach out to us, we send you the link, you join the lesson. If you like it, you can stick and stay. We have group sessions and also one-on-one sessions as well. If you love the lesson, you can stick and stay. If not, you can look for other ways that will help you, improve or prepare you for the exam. But at Mr. Quakers Teaches, we help build confidence to make sure that our students are ready and able to move grades, to do very well and ace their exams. Now, additionally, if you have any other general questions, on any subject, you can send me you can send an email to me, and the email address is mrq@mrquakersteaches.com. That is mrq@mrquakersteaches.com. That what you can see on the screen. Or you can also send an email to me at mrquakersteaches@gmail.com. That is mrquakersteaches@gmail.com, and then I'll see how best to help you, because we just want to help students excel as they prepare for their exams. Let's begin our analysis. Let's start by speaking about the poet. So she was born in the English county of Lincolnshire in 1926. That's about 100 years ago. Now, Elizabeth Jennings was one of the most popular female British poets of the 20th century. She is noted amongst a number of poets who were collectively part of something called the movement that was devoted to the notion of English poetry and its place in the world. Although she suffered serious mental illness in the early 60s, she wrote a large number of works over her lifetime and received a CBE in 1992. Her birthplace in Boston, Lincolnshire, with its flat landscape and flowers, became an inspiration for her late writings. When Jennings was just 6 years old, she moved to Oxford, where she discovered poetry for the first time. She was soon exploring the likes of Keats and Byron and then began writing her own works. With the outbreak of war in 1939, she also found a deeper meaning in religion, which helped her develop the sensitivity to understand the suffering of those around her. Jennings later attended Oxford University, where she studied English. Her first work, Poems, was published in 1953 and received some critical acclaim from the likes of Robert Conquest. So that's like a brief note or point about Elizabeth Jennings. Now, this is the poem. The poem, in terms of summary, this poem is about a night event where some men enter into a town. They're only seen by the women, right? But then in the morning, people are afraid. There's this sense of mistrust, because people imagine that their neighbors have become spies for these invaders, and they are worried about what their neighbors will say about them. I think it sort of reminds me of what happened in places like France, during the Second World War, when France was invaded, or Poland or the likes by the Nazis. So that's like the sense that I get, with this poem. So, and essentially, by the end of the poem, people no longer trust the people that they've grown up with or lived with all their lives. Let me begin the analysis by reading the poem, The Enemies by Elizabeth Jennings. Last night, they came across the river and entered the city. Women were awake with lights and food. They entertained the band, not asking what the men had come to take, or what strange tongue they spoke, or why they came so suddenly through the land. Now, in the morning, all the town is filled with stories of the swift and dark invasion. The women say that not one stranger told the reason for its coming. The intrusion was not for devastation. Peace is apparent still on earth and field. Yet, all the city is a haunted place. Man meeting man speaks cautiously. Old friends close up the candid looks upon their face. There is no warmth in hands accepting hands. Each ponder, better hide myself in case those strangers have set up their homes in minds I used to walk in. Better draw the blinds, even if the strangers haunt in my own house. So that essentially is the reading of the poem. Now, the poem begins with this word, last night, which reveals that the speaker is narrating what happened the night before, or what happened the previous night. That creates the impression that she's revealing breaking news to the reader, like, very recent news. While they came across the river tells that the nameless group of people likely came by boat, or maybe they swam, I don't know, but then they came across the river. So it means that there's a river demarcation between where the town is, or where these people live, and where these people, the invaders, essentially came from. Now, and entered the city reveals that they came to the center of the town. So they came to the center of the town. Now observe that she says last night they came. Now the question is that, is it fear that causes the speaker not to reveal the identity of the group? Is the speaker afraid? Is that why she does not reveal the identity of the group and she just refers to them as they? She should have said last night invaders came, but then she just refers to them in the third person plural they. So I think maybe there's this sense of fear. I don't know. What do you think? Now additionally, the poem continues and says women were awake. This reveals that the women were alert. I think it's an allusion to the alertness of the women, and it also shows that they had not gone to sleep. They were alert, unlike the men. With lights and food reveals that they were ready to provide illumination and sustenance. So it reveals that they were ready, because if they had light, then the light is for illumination to show the way, and then food is an allusion to sustenance. The women were alert, and then they had like the required things for the invaders. That's possibly because they wanted to see them, but then they also wanted to give them food as well. The poem continues with what the women did. It says they entertained the band. So not only did they have lights and food, they also entertained the band. That suggests that the women gave food to the group and likely did things to amuse them, to make them very comfortable. Now also, the word band, the use of the word band strikingly reveals the unity of the group of invaders. They were together. But band, I think, also downplays them. It creates the impression like there was some music group or something. So I think there's this way that the writer uses language, or the poet uses language to, not sound overtly against the group, possibly again because of fear. Now, the other thing that the women did not do was that they didn't ask what the invaders or what the men had come to take. So they entertained the band, but they're not asking what the men had come to take. That shows that they did not ask what they came to plunder. Why did you come to plunder? They didn't ask that. Again, possibly because they were afraid. Or what strange language they spoke. That suggests that the people or the invaders were not speaking the same language as the people from the locality. So these were foreigners. Then the third thing the women did not do is that, or why they came so suddenly through the land. So they did not also ask them, why are you coming so suddenly through our land? Why did you know? They did not ask. They didn't ask what they came to take. They didn't ask the kind of where they were from, that's their language, because if you ask about a person's language, the possibilities that you know where the person is from, and then they didn't ask them why they came so suddenly, so quickly, without, forcefully through the land. Why are you coming for the invasion? The women did not ask. Instead, they just entertained them, and then they also had light and food ready. Now, in terms of the themes of the poem, we have war and its effect, or invasion and its effects. We also have the theme of mistrust and suspicion among neighbors after an invasion or because of an invasion. We have the effects of fear in the city, among other themes. Now, in terms of the tone of the poem, we see the tone is quite gossipy. What happens last night, suspicious, mistrust, among other tones. That's what we see in terms of the tone. Then in terms of the point of view of the poem is recounted in the third person point of view. And that's evidenced by the speaker's repetition of they and their in reference to the invaders. All right? Which signals that they are the main focus of the poem. They. Then she also uses the first person point of view. So we see that, for example, when she says myself, I, and mine. When revealing thoughts of individual townspeople, which creates the impression that she's reading their minds. Possibly because, she was there as well. The speaker was also there when all of these things were happening. So we see a blend of the third person point of view and then the first person singular, point of view. Now, in terms of the form and structure of the poem, I always tell my students that you have to write about the form and structure in your essays. And again, with the sample essays that we have, grade 9, A-star essays, you can see how you can write about the form and structure of a poem. Now, the poem has a weak A-B, A-B, B-A, or a A-B, A-B, B-A rhyme scheme. Is weak. It's not a very strong rhyme scheme. So you look at it, the and, band, land, awake, take, spoke, filled, told, filled. So you see the rhyme scheme of the poem there, which reveals the initial artificial piece. So there's a sense of peace in the first two stanzas is artificial. Then later we see that the rhyme scheme changes. We see the inclusion of a C. All right, A B A B A B B C. So it shifts. There's a sense of artificial peace as the poem unravels. I think the speaker does that to show the underlying trust that is injected into the setting. The poem is 20 lines in total, which is broken into 2 sextets or 6-line stanzas. So stanza 1 and stanza 2 have like 6 lines each. But then stanza 3 is an octet. So that's an 8-line stanza. All right. And I think the speaker does this to show presents the poem as very uneven. So she's trying to show that it's like a coded message of sorts. That's the sense that I get. So there's this sense of structure, and then shifts. And I think the speaker does that, or the poetic voice does that to present the poem like a coded message to somebody who's outside. In this instance, the reader, to show that they were invaders and then they are changing the circumstance of what's happening in the city. Now, we also see these of enjambment as well. So we see that in the flow of words from one line to the next without pause. And I think the speaker does this to show her willingness to expose, even if it's in a coded way or in a way that changes the language, what is happening in the setting, revealing to us what is happening so that we know. And then because maybe we are outside of the environment that has been controlled by the invaders, maybe we can do something about it to liberate those people who have been, have been invaded. So that's about that, about the structure. So here you have it. Elizabeth Jennings' poem, The Enemies, has been simplified. Like I said, this analysis is part of a course in which I've analyzed all the 15 poems in your GCSE or IGCSE anthology. And you can subscribe to it for only £5 a month or £45 a year. That means if you do the yearly subscription, it means you get to save 3 months in subscription. Now, the course contains predicted IGCSE or GCSE questions that you can try answer for each of the video analyzed poem, with rolling annotations like you've seen. Now, additionally, you can also get sample A-star quality essays that you can mimic or build your essays around. You mirror it and see, okay, how's the introduction done? How's the body done? How's the points presented? The evidence, embedded, and then how's the explanation, the analysis done? That's if you're doing the PEE or the PEA system. So how do you write about the form and then the structure of the essay? What do you put in the conclusion? All of that you find in the sample A-star essays that are that are part of the course. Now, additionally, if you need help in the other components of the English literature, like the drama, the prose, the unseen paper, or even the poetry, again, you can sign up for our tuition services. And you can sign up at mrquickestyteaches.com. That's mrquickestyteaches.com. Just sign up. The first lesson is a trial lesson. That means you don't have to pay any money without no obligations. So when you join the lesson, if you enjoy it and it's something that you can work with, that works for you, you can talk about having like multiple lessons, in the day, either in the group sessions or in the one-on-one sessions as well. Now, additionally, we also provide tuition services for other subjects like English language, geography, history, sociology, math, the sciences, the triple sciences, with very experienced teachers that build your confidence, practice past papers with you, predicted questions with you to encourage you, make sure that you build your confidence, and then ace your exams and get wonderful grades. I mean, we are talking about teachers that have 15 to 20 years of experience in teaching the IGCSE or GCSE. Now, additionally, if you have any other questions, queries, concerns, and you want to reach me directly, you can send an email to me, and they send it to the email address mrq@mrquickestyteaches.com. That is mrq@mrquickestyteaches.com. Or you can also send me an email to mrquickestyteaches@gmail.com. That's mrquickestyteaches@gmail.com. Or you can write a comment on any of the social media handles where you find this analysis, and then I'll reach out to you and see how best to help you. So, see you in the course for £5 a month in subscription or £45 a year in subscription. Thank you also for joining this lesson. From me, Mr. Quickest, until the next lesson. Bye-bye.